This here is Boom Studios' Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comic issue 29. We begin with Kelsey, Yellow Lightspeed Ranger, working out with TJ, Blue Space Ranger, talking to her from his own cell. They are both imprisoned within Drakon's base. So it turns out TJ was captured following the events of the Shattered Grid Annual. I thought he had either escaped or died in space. At the command center, Jen tells the ranger teams that the cracks in the grid are spreading, and if Drakon continues what he's doing, he will break reality. As Drakon is stealing morphers for himself, he's adding more access points to his power set, and therefore increasing his resonance with the Morphin grid. He's also giving power to his growing forces via a transmission tower, so that is further weakening the barriers between dimensions and worlds. Jason introduces Dr. K and Grace Sterling to the teams. Lauren tells everyone they'll be working with the Rangers to protect their morphers from the Black Dragon cannons, which strip the Rangers of their powers. The battle plan is to head to Drakon's base and destroy his transmission tower. Some comic relief comes when Karone asks why the command center's room in the pocket dimension is so dark. She's told that they're doing battle plans talk, so Zach wanted to reference a movie. Well, in this day and age, a lot of movies featuring battle planning have dark rooms. So that lightened the mood, but then Alpha warns the Rangers something is heading straight for the command center. There is a crash outside, and it is actually the Red Space Ranger, Andros, who appears before the Rangers. So ultimately, Andros was able to escape from Drakon too, after I saw his team get captured in the annual. At Drakon's base, one of Drakon's commanders can't believe that Skull was a traitor, saying that it was unfathomable. Drakon is angry by that term because he sees it as saying Drakon is incompetent. Skull is then led out before Drakon, saying that the Rangers will beat him and stop this nightmare. Drakon then takes hold of Skull's head and snaps his neck. This version of Skull was brave and heroic, so to see him die like that was a shame. Drakon then relieves that Commander Farr of his duties because he handpicked Skull. It's suggested he will either be imprisoned or executed. Finster 5 locates the Ranger Slayer, the Kimberly from Drakon's timeline. As we've already seen from Go-Go Power Rangers, the Ranger Slayer ended up too far back in time, before the timeline was broken. But she was able to send out a message which Finster 5 managed to track. Drakon wants to bring the Ranger Slayer back, but it's impossible now that the grid is shattered. Finster opens a portal to allow Drakon to communicate with her instead. This is basically recapping Drakon's and Kimberly's conversation we saw in issue 11 of the Go-Go Power Rangers comic, but it's nice to see it told from Drakon's perspective this time, because this time round, we can see that Finster 5 is there, and he notices something different about the Ranger Slayer after she stumbles on a sentence. When she questions Drakon's actions, it is Finster who points out that Kimberly is morphed, but her bow is missing. So it wasn't Drakon who picked up on it in Go-Go Power Rangers. It was actually Finster. And the rest of the scene pans out the same with Kimberly telling Drakon she will kill him, and then the portal closing. Drakon is actually worried that Kimberly might be able to stop him, and then he suddenly falls to his knee because the strain of so many different power signatures is tearing his body apart. Finster is showing great concern for Drakon's well-being, and there is a look of sadness when Drakon tells him that he will continue to amass other morphers. I'd still like to know why Finster is so close to Drakon. It was established previously that Drakon considers him a friend, but we've not seen why yet. At the command center, Andros is talking to Lauren about finding Astronomer. Karone is actually watching from afar. Obviously, this is Lost Galaxy's Karone, so she's the future version of Astronomer, and she's already reunited with Andros. Jen persuades Karone to go to talk to Andros, and so the two siblings/rangers from different timelines are reunited this way. As Commander Kruger says, it's nice to get one happy moment out of all this. Zordon agrees with him and tells Kruger that the death of yet another one of his rangers has been trying. It's good to see Zordon opening up to a mentor of another ranger team. It shows that Zordon does care for his team, and he believes that the Rangers will learn and grow the most from their mentor's mistakes. Now we see Jason talking with Grace. He wasn't sure if she'd come, given their heated exchanges in the past. But desperate times called for desperate measures, so with reality at risk, Grace had to come to help with augmenting the Rangers' morphers to protect them from the Black Dragon cannons. Although things were frosty between them because Grace had Drakon imprisoned, Jason understands her more now, following Tommy's death, so he appears to have eased up a little on Grace because they've now been through the same. Kruger approaches Grace that they'll be looking to cross dimensional barriers with a lot of Rangers, so they need a ship. However, SPDs aren't big enough. Grace says to take hers and brings up a hologram. It surprises Karone because it's Terra Venture. As Karone says the name, Grace says that's what it ends up being called. So this is confirmation that Promethea is indeed Terra Venture, the ship/colony from the Lost Galaxy series. It would be interesting to see how that takes off. Alpha then tells the group that the Rangers from other worlds are answering Zordon's call for assistance and are approaching the command center. They go outside to look, but they can't see any Rangers despite Alpha's reading saying that they've arrived. Trini then points and tells the others to look as Rangers teleport down from the sky, much like a meteor shower. The spread was just a beautiful piece of art, and it flows nicely into the next shot of all the Rangers who answered Zordon's call. It's nice to see the Hyperforce Rangers appear, as well as the Rangers from Beast Morphers, even though they haven't made their television screen debut yet. So that's a first, seeing them appear in comic book form first. Kimberly asks Zordon what they're going to do about Drakon after they destroy Drakon's tower. He is still the most powerful being on the planet. Zordon says he spent many hours wondering what to do. He has found a solution. We then see a projection of Zordon floating alongside Kruger. He's hoping Zordon knows what he's doing. Zordon tells Kruger he must have faith, because Rita might be their only hope. So, there's a nice twist at the end. Zordon wanting to form an alliance with Rita. I didn't see that one coming. It's an unlikely alliance if it does go ahead, and I wonder what the future of the series will be like if they do defeat Drakon. But now, on to Blue Centurion and Ninjor. As you know, I don't really like the goofiness of this miniseries, but actually I was quite impressed by this issue story because the artwork is pretty faithful to Ninjor's Temple of Power in the TV series, but also the dialogue here by Ninjor is more accurate to the TV show than we've seen in the main comic storyline so far. He's more over-the-top heroic and more comical as he tells Blue Centurion he's not Ninjor and tells him to go away. He pokes Blue Centurion in the visor as he tries to force Ninjor to come out. Centurion says it's no wonder the Rangers turned to crime. That ruffles Ninjor's feathers, and he finally appears wanting to help Blue Centurion stop the Rangers from committing any more crime. Ninjor tells Blue Centurion they must go to the scene of the crime, but he tells Ninjor that he makes the rules and calls the shots. It's like those movies where police officers are mismatched with their partners, like Rush Hour, Lethal Weapon, or Beverly Hills Cop. This is where the story ends for now. On the whole, this was an entertaining issue with a variety of elements. There's the loss of Skull, in some ways a sweet reimagining of Andros and Karone's reunion, the reveal that Promethea is Terra Venture, and the surprise that Zordon wants help from Rita. The only complaint I have is bridging the in-space adventure from the annual with this. TJ was blasted out into the vacuum of space, but here he is captured by Drakon. Andros managed to escape as well, but we don't get to see how. It would have been nice to see how those events unfolded, but I guess it does save time, as otherwise the storyline could drag on if we get into too much detail for every single Ranger team out there.